Okay, so new episode and new chronicles for you. And this week we'll be discussing the excellence or relevance sections that all proposals have. We'll look into that. And then we have an interview with Ricardo Assunção. He works with the Egas Moniz School of Health and Science, and I think you'll enjoy his discussion about the One Health slogan and principle that they use. You won't waste your time. It's very, very interesting. And we closed with an analysis of an open call. This is an exception. This is a call that's not for consortia. It's for individual applications, for grants for media actions. So if you're in the media space, and be aware, media space is nowadays a different concept, wider concept. If you are in that space, be aware of this and, try your best proposal. See you next week. Hope you enjoy it. Bye. Do you know that every year countless EU funding applications are rejected? Not because they're not good, not because the ideas lack merit, but they fail miserably in the relevance or excellence section. So let's look into that. It's an important issue. Today we'll look at the relevance or excellence section. Different calls have different requirements here. Some ask for a more science-based excellence section. Others ask for a more practical-based relevance section. It's a little bit different, but in the end, this is the initial section that isn't just another box to tick. It's where you have to prove why your project matters, who it serves, how it aligns with Europe's priorities. So let's be blunt about this. You get this wrong, and it doesn't matter how much you are brilliant in the rest of your proposal, it won't get anywhere. So you got to think of this as the heart of your application. It actually connects your project to the bigger picture, the EU goals, the needs for your target group, and the impact that you aim to achieve. It's how important this is. So why does it have this weight? Why in many EU calls it's worth up to 40 points, 40 out of 100? It's a lot. Why? Mostly because it's where you show alignment. It's where evaluators will see how your project actually contributes or can contribute to Europe's goals. Whatever those goals are, depends on the call. From tackling climate change to boosting social inclusion, doesn't matter. The logic is always the same in all projects, in all calls. So here's how it works. If successful projects actually explicitly tie their objectives to EU priorities. Priorities like gender equality, digital transformation, sustainability, whatever. And they also clearly define their target group. They clearly define who are they gonna benefit, and they back this up with data, and then explain how their project will deliver real measurable benefits. If you're take this as an example. This project had a great part showing how their initiative really addressed rural women entrepreneurs, and they really show how they were aligned with the EU's digital inclusion goals. And in the end, they got 2 million in funding. Why? Because they avoided these mistakes. They didn't have vague objectives. They were very clear. They didn't have unclear target groups. They clearly defined rural women entrepreneurs. And they didn't forget to mention how their work would scale beyond their local community. They shown how this could then be applied outside that initial target group. This is demanding, of course, but in the end, this is, let's call it an elephant in the room, because in the end, some people say that the relevance section, the excellence section, is like jumping through hoops, forcing you to align with EU priorities when your project actually is more local or has a different focus. But the reality is EU funding is about shared impact. So the EU taxpayer money is to be invested in projects that will deliver at scale across borders, real benefits. If your project can't fit into the big picture, then maybe it shouldn't be supported by Europe, by EU funding. So in the end, this should be more than a bureaucracy. The idea of shared impact should be more than bureaucracy, should be actually part of the strategy. And that's where some people will argue with me. It's mostly bureaucracy and it doesn't work that well. And I would love to hear your thoughts about this. But let me just finish by saying that the bottom line of this is you have to think like an EU policymaker and understand what were the objectives and why. And then you have to write like a storyteller, because you do have to convince. It's not enough to have complete alignment with the EU objectives. You have to convince the evaluator that you are aligned with those objectives. And the best way to do that is actually through storytelling. That's the way to connect the dots between your project and and Europe's priorities. So in the end, we should start with a clear problem and back that problem with data. Prove that it exists it exists outside of our head. Okay, and then show how our project aligns with EU priorities, or whatever they are. It depends on the call. And then define the target groups and explain how the project will benefit them. And then the other sections should develop this idea, particularly the application, the implementation section. But we'll have time to talk about that another day. This is my idea for today. Please let me know your thoughts about this in whatever way you want. Comments, shares, whatever platform you're using. Okay, see you next week. Hey, welcome back to InnovEU, the EU project chronicles. Thank you for being with us. So this week we have with us Ricardo Assunção. He's with the Egas Moniz School of Health and Science, or Science and Health. I may be confusing, sorry about that.
No, Egas Moniz School of Health and Science.
Health and Science. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Would you tell us a little bit about this institution? You're based in Portugal, right?
Exactly. And first of all, thank you, Fernando, for this invitation. It is a pleasure for me to be here with you and also our colleagues that are hearing us. So Egas Moniz School of Health and Science is a higher education institution that is located in Monte da Caparica, which is quite close to Lisbon, the capital of Portugal. And we have this special location because we are quite close to the beach and close also to the Tagus River. So we are here quite well located, close to water, which is a really good place to work. And this institution is mainly dedicated to the health issues. So in addition to dentistry, to physiotherapy, to a nurse school and students, we have also the animal related courses like veterinary medicine, veterinary nursing, and biomedical sciences. So we have this overview of different courses and different matters related with health. In addition, we have also the scientific work. So we have our research center that is multidisciplinary center. So we are gathering different researchers, different colleagues that have different backgrounds related with health, and we are putting all together in order to provide advance of science related with health, but also applied science. So many related with the issues that are we are trying to answer some challenges related with health in a broader perspective, I would say.
I heard about a slogan that really thrilled me because I work in the marketing area, and the One Health idea. I
Exactly.
think it's great.
Yeah,
It's
and it fits completely with our mission. So here at CM, the name of our research center, uh, the main mission of our center is to provide support with this One Health approach. So the One Health approach considers that the health of humans, animals, and environment is interlinked. So to tackle and to have an answer to real complex issues related with health, we should tackle these three pillars: the health of humans, health of animals, and health of the environment.
That's quite interesting. But let me clear something because for some projects this is important. Egas Moniz is a private university.
Exactly. So we are a private university, which means that our students are like funding their studies. Of course, we have also some funds coming from public institutions, mainly related with research. So we apply as the other researchers to these funding programs, and we are getting some of these funds.
One thing I find interesting about Egas Moniz is I believe you have a high percentage of foreign students, Central Europe students that come here to study what? Dentistry? And
Dentistry, veterinary medicine, physiotherapy. I would say that these are the three courses that are gathering more international students, or at least foreign students. But in fact, our institution is quite multicultural, I would say, and we are benefiting from these different cultures, different people coming from different parts of mainly Europe, and providing these environments that are more multicultural and I would say more rich in terms of different cultures.
And what role have the EU-funded projects had in this development of Egas Moniz?
Yeah, so I think that as for all the researchers, when we are having these opportunities to be part of European consortium, it's quite important in terms of the experience itself, because these are researchers coming from different perspectives, having different experiences. And when we are sharing these environments, these are providing and promoting also the advancement of the research that we are doing. In my case, specifically nowadays, I'm being part of a European consortium funded by the Horizon Europe. And so I think that it is also, despite I already worked with the majority of these researchers before this proposal, I think that when we have these opportunities like Horizon Europe, of course, we are improving also the way we are established in the research context and in the research environment. And at least from my perspective, being part of these consortium or being part of the European consortia is something that is not happening by magic, I would say. So you should work and work in advance to establish good networking. And this is at least what was my previous experience. So I was, as I said, I was working with some researchers, European researchers in different perspectives, for example, in cost action initiative. And then we established this relationship. So we were able to work together to have common interests, and we were confident about the work that we were doing. So when we started to think about the proposal, it was easier because we we had already experience in working together. So we were not like start discussing, but we were in fact working in the proposal. So
I
if I
guess
have some,
yeah, go on. No, I was saying, I guess when you know the partners that well, it's easier to know what to put in the
exactly.
proposal. Who will do what?
Yeah.
It will become easier, no?
Yeah, exactly. So of course, I'm not saying that it's impossible to establish a good proposal and a proposal that would be funded if you are starting from the zero. What I'm saying is that if you have already a group of persons that you are used to work, this facilitates the process, and this is what was my experience. I had also, so this is my first experience being part of a Horizon Europe consortium, but before I was participating in the other European projects. In fact, I coordinated one European project funded by a different institution, but I had the same experience. So the consortia was created with the researchers that we already know each other, and these facilitated a lot the process.
I was gonna make you a question in that sense, ask you about your experience in Egas Moniz. How long have you been there, and your experience with the EU-funded projects as well? Will you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah. So I'm a veterinarian by background, and then I started. So as far as I got my degree, I started working in the public health sector. So mainly related with the human diseases and human health, but something related also with the veterinary sciences. So food safety, basically. So I was working in a topic that is the foods that could be a vehicle of diseases for humans, the animal foods or animal-based foods, I would say. And I started working in that field, and then I moved a little bit to the risk assessment and the food toxicology. And because I was mainly focusing on the human diseases and human diseases caused by foods, I was getting more and more closely to what is the human diseases, and I was more close to also to the One Health context, as we discussed in the beginning. So this interlink or this relationship between human, animal, and environmental diseases. And then I had the opportunity to work with different researchers and in different projects until the moment that I had the opportunity to be part of the management board of that cost action, which was called Burden EU. That was a call or a cost action dedicated to the burden of disease. So the burden associated to different diseases. I was part of the management board. And then we decided to apply to this Horizon Europe, which is called Best Cost, and again is related with the burden of disease. But it is mainly
cluster 2. Is that a cluster 2 project?
I'm not sure because it is related with air pollution, so I'm not sure if it is a cluster 2, but probably yes. Yeah, I don't know by heart.
Okay, we'll check. So, what about the future? What would you like to be doing in the near future? What kind of projects?
It's a good question. Nowadays, because as I said, I started my research career in the area of food safety. nowadays one of my research areas is the sustainability of food systems. So nowadays we are realizing that the food systems are pressuring a lot the environment. So we should have some strategies to transform the way we are producing and consuming foods. And so this is where I'm nowadays putting some efforts in terms of research. I have some PhD students and some projects developing. Some of them are related, for example, with alternative protein sources. So we should find some alternatives to the animal-based foods like meat and dairy products. And for example, I'm working in a big project that is called Insectera, and it is dealing with the insects. So not directly with the consumption of insects by humans, but using insects as a tool to provide, for example, to reduce the food waste, for example, and then using also the outputs or the results of the use of the insects to, for example, as fertilizers for agriculture, or to be included in the feed for animals, for example. So I think that sometimes when we think about the insects as an alternative, especially for the Western population, the first question is how can I or would I be able to eat these insects? But there are other options, as I said, as a fertilizers, or also included as a part of the formulation of the food for the animals, the feed. So this is what I'm planning for the coming years, to be more in deep in these sustainability of food systems, not only in trying to find different options, but also to provide and support the decision by the consumers. Because what I'm feeling nowadays is that there are different options, different information, but in fact, we should support the consumers to have their best decision in terms of their choices. And this is another area of research.
Well, in that area, you are in trouble, because you will be fighting the marketing of the food industry. I'm kidding.
Exactly.
Because I work in the marketing area, I know how much propaganda, let's call it this way, how much propaganda is sold to the consumers about the things they eat, which in the end will not be exactly as mentioned, but okay. But nevertheless, I want to say something. I really love that concept of One Health. You're dealing with the health of the environment, because that's important for the health of humans and animals. I think that's a great concept you got there.
Yeah. So the One Health, and so I can give you some examples where the One Health are being or should be taken into account. For example, with COVID, the pandemic that we were living. So it is a problem of One Health. So despite we don't know exactly how it starts, we know that probably it was involved animals in the process. And then, so it is a zoonotic disease. So it is a disease that is spread between humans and animals. And this is a problem that is it could be seen in this perspective of One Health. Additionally, for example, nowadays we are increasing the deforestation, so we are destroying the forests, and this has a consequence of having more the wild animals are becoming more close to the human population, and consequently transmitting some diseases to the humans. So we have this problem of the spillover of the pathogens that are traditionally in the wild animals, and now we are facilitating the process of the transmission to humans, for example.
Yeah,
and
that's a
again,
great example.
Yeah, and we have also the climate change problem. So the climate is changing, and consequently, we have also changing, for example, in the periods that mosquitoes are more active. And we know that there are some diseases, infectious diseases that are transmitted by vectors, meaning these mosquitoes, for example. And if we are changing these environments, the temperatures, the humidity, we are also contributing for these mosquitoes to become more active and consequently transmitting more easily the diseases. And of course, we have consequences to humans and animals. So 3 examples that the One Health concept is part of our days.
Yeah, I see your point, and as I understand that One Health concept leaves Egas Moniz open to collaborations in actually many different areas because it really includes most of science, I would say. But that I want to close with one further question. What would be your advice to newcomers, to researchers or institutions that have no experience in EU-funded projects but would benefit from joining them?
Yeah, so just as I said, I think that at least in building in my previous experience, networking is the key. So we should start working in advance, establishing some connections, some working with some colleagues from different institutions. We know we don't know everything, so we will be stronger if we will go together. And of course, sometimes we don't have this expertise in a specific technique or in a specific methodology. And with these collaboration processes, these will facilitate and improve the conditions that a consortium could provide to answer a specific question. And as a second suggestion, of course, related with my specific expertise, I would say that to tackle complex problems, we cannot have simple answers. And saying this, what I would like to say is that as far as possible, and specifically in the health context, the One Health approach should be the approach that we should consider from the beginning. So I'm not saying that we should consider the 3 pillars at the same time, all the time, but at least when we are tackling and start thinking about a specific research question, we should approach it as far as possible with this holistic approach. So considering that if it is a complex problem, for sure, a simple solution, it's difficult to have a simple solution. So we should have this holistic approach to try to answer that complex question.
Well, that can apply to health and to politics as well. So it has a lot of application. That's very good. Okay. Would you like to leave some final message, some final words?
Yeah, I think that the main message was the thing that I just referred, and you were saying also in terms of the politics nowadays and recently. So last week was launched the 6 recommendations regarding the One Health approach. So these are like top-down and bottom-up recommendations in order to tackle the problems that we are facing, the societal problems that we are facing nowadays. And one of it is to understand better what is One Health, what is the concept of One Health, but the other one is the education about it and also the establishment of a governance perspective. So all of these are recommendations to facilitate and to help, in fact, how we could tackle the biggest problems that we are facing nowadays. So as a final message, I would recommend, for example, the reading of these recommendations regarding the One Health perspective.
Where can people find it?
If you agree, Fernando, I can share the link and we could make it available. Yeah,
Great,
exactly.
great. Okay, so thank you very much for taking this time to talk with us.
Thank you, Fernand,
Thank
for
you
the
for this
opportunity.
interview. And we are neighbors. So I hope I'll see you. I'm on the other side of the river, so I hope I'll see you around. Thank you very much. Bye
Thank you
bye.
so much, Fernand.
Are you ready to make a difference in how European citizens engage with democracy? The EP.com SUBV 2025 Media Call is your chance to create impactful media projects that inform, educate, and inspire. With a total budget of 5 million euros, this initiative is about strengthening public awareness of the European Parliament's work and fostering resilience against disinformation. This call supports innovative media actions that deliver reliable and pluralistic information about the European Parliament's role and decisions, emphasizing their relevance to citizens' daily lives, and combat disinformation with fact-checking and media literacy campaigns. Eligible applicants include news agencies, TV and radio stations, digital media, and written press established in an EU member state. Applicants must be legal entities with at least 2 years of experience in media and communication and operate independently, free from political affiliations. This is a mono-beneficiary call, meaning only single organizations, not consortia, can apply. Supported activities include TV shows, radio programs, articles, and blogs explaining the Parliament's legislative work, multimedia content like social media campaigns, interactive visuals, and fact-checking projects. Actions must run for at least 6 months between September 2025 and March 2027. Each project can receive 30,000 euros to 150,000 euros, covering up to 60% of eligible costs. Mark these dates. Call opens November 14th, 2024. Submission deadline January 15th, 2025, 1700 hours Central European Time. Results will be announced in June 2025, with projects starting in September 2025. By participating, your project will enhance citizen engagement with EU democracy, strengthen societal resilience to disinformation, and reach broader audiences with innovative multi-platform strategies. Ready to make an impact? Visit the Funding and Tenders portal to learn more and apply. Let's shape a more informed and resilient Europe together.
InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles, is a weekly video podcast. Please subscribe to Polygzoc's newsletter to receive every podcast episode. And if you like receiving it, please press like in whatever platform you are watching or listening. Also, please share InnovEU and Polygzoc with anyone you feel will enjoy it. Credits: author and host Fernando C. Gaspar, music Hugo Gaspar, Lisbon, Portugal, 2024. Reach us by email or DM.